Nicaragua is a land of remarkable contrasts. The volcanic landscape not only reflects the tectonic forces that have molded the region, but provides this small Central American country with rich resources for ports, coffee production, and a way of life that binds its people to the land. Today you can find beautiful coastal beaches that stretch for miles with hardly a soul in sight, or you can walk through lush rainforests and jungles that are home to exotic birds, howler monkeys, and jaguars. And you can admire the colonial architecture of Granada, the oldest city in the Americas. The history of Nicaragua is riddled with conflict and features pirates, dictators, conquests, natural disasters, and revolutions that continue to this day. With this relentless turmoil, it's no wonder that this country is a victim of poverty. And somehow, you'll still find the people to be kind, fun-loving, and generous. From a chance encounter with Roy McCord, who spent several years helping a small nonprofit in the highlands of northern Nicaragua, our family was moved to experience something new in the spirit of making a small contribution to alleviate poverty. Our adventure took us to Jinotega, a bustling town of 50,000 sitting high in the coffee country, with all the amenities of a small city, including churches, Central Park, shops, and markets. As with many towns, it's the marginal area that is the most neglected. It was here that Pat McCulley started a program called Circulo de Amigas, Circle of Friends, to help young girls stay in school during the Sandinista Revolution. After gathering a small arsenal of baseball mitts, clothing, and school resources, it took us nearly 30 hours to reach Jinotega. Upon our arrival, we were greeted by a torrential thunderstorm. It's a sign of a short, daily occurrence in the rainy season. The daily rainstorms brought to light a small but inconvenient problem that plagues many homes in the neighborhood, and that is leaky rooftops. Our two boys, James and David, were therefore tasked to solve this problem. It was amazing how many families tolerated a constant drip from small holes in the corrugated tin ceilings above their beds. The solution to the problem was relatively simple and offered the afflicted families great relief. Some leaks, however, were more than we bargained for when the water came indoors and turned the floor to mud. Working with the young girls was a major priority for us at Circulo de Amigas. Beyond the daily use of the library, whenever volunteers like ourselves come to town, the young girls take the opportunity to learn some English from the volunteers or bone up on their schoolwork with classes held in the library or on the open-air porch that also serves for meetings and meals. Space is limited, but somehow it all worked out. And Circulo de Amigas is always buzzing with activity and is constantly filled with dedicated young girls who are serious about their studies. One particular young 12-year-old is Daira, who we decided to help with funding her schooling. We're already seeing our effort pay off as she has just placed second in a citywide history contest and wants to grow up to be a chemist. Because of the success of the library and tutoring program, the center is now looking to expand the library and is actively fundraising to make this a reality for next year. Another highlight of our stay was to get on with a serious pastime in Jinotega, and that is baseball. Our two boys, James and David, quickly became the center of attention as they began to organize baseball games and create a lending system for the baseball equipment. Needless to say, it was a big hit with everyone.
Okay, we're putting our mitts to use in the sandlot here in Jinotega, Nicaragua. We rounded up a whole neighborhood of boys. Got about 16 mitts going. And the game goes on, even with a rainstorm on the horizon. There it goes.
Even though we usually played baseball with the neighborhood kids once or twice a day, kids were always coming to the center to borrow gear. We brought about 18 mitts, balls, and bats down that were donated from friends and a Pleasanton sports store. Since it rains a lot here, it was great to be able to provide the kids with fresh gear. The lending program that we started seemed to work quite well. Sometimes we put one kid in charge of checking out all the gear, and they were pretty responsible for bringing it all back.
We were really happy to see how well everyone played baseball. Even though the guys usually played in the games, there were also girls that borrowed the gear as well. This was great to see. Soccer was another highlight for us, and we saw a lot of talent on the field.
Between the work and play, our time in Jinotega was punctuated by the numerous friendships we made among the dedicated staff and the very talented young girls. With 20 years under its belt, this program certainly has legs to it and promises to really make a difference in this community. Well over 120 girls are now being sponsored, and some have graduated from the university in pharmacy, engineering, and law. It's wonderful to see them break out of their cycle of poverty. At the end of our stay, we found that getting involved and helping was easy, but leaving Nicaragua and this community was the hard part. Somehow, I think we'll be coming back.